Tariffs, oh tariffs, this is some bull. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Chris the Batman Statue Collector, and I had to give a shout out here to my friend Matt Martin over here. We're going full Baja tonight, and this is going to be a lively conversation, I am sure, because there's a lot going on in terms of collecting, and we're going to be talking about it tonight. We have some really fun things. We're going to do something brand new we've never done on the channel tonight as well, so I'm looking forward to that with our topic 2. And then we've got a lot of photos to look at, of course. You guys are going to have to talk me off the ledge to figure out if I need a Legendary Beast Studio Joker or not. Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? Billy, what's up?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to see all you guys. Excited to get into our first topic tonight. Daredevil season 1, episode 8. Thought it was great. So
that's right. We're gonna hit Daredevil hard tonight.
Wait, is there something else going on?
I think just a little something else, I guess. Right. We also have Matt Martin from the Bat Vault. How's it going, sir?
Doing good. Looking forward to tonight's show. Looking forward to talking about topics, but also looking at some good pictures, of other statues.
Absolutely. I was telling him before the show that he is indeed a lucky bastard. He's got 2 Prime 1 statues apparently coming in this week. We'll see. But Tactical Throne and Batman versus Killer Croc. So that's really exciting. Both of mine have shipped. I haven't had the updated information, but Matt actually got the updated information. He didn't pay for faster shipping, but it's got here really super fast. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that you'll, if you have time to do a review of that Batcave, because I haven't seen anybody with the back part with yet.
The full,
So if you would be interested, I would love to feature that on the channel. I'm just so excited that people are getting those in, and obviously Billy really enjoys his, and I'm really happy that people are getting it in. So congratulations on yours. Hopefully arriving the next week. So we'll see. Yep. We also have Mr. Eric B from All Things Art. How's it going, sir?
I think good. Mentally, I like to think I'm doing okay. Physically, I'm just getting over being sick, but I'm trying to hang in there.
I was going to say, we didn't get to see Eric for the auction show. We missed you that night, but we're glad that you're back with us, and we're glad that you're feeling a little bit better. Obviously,
I was actually at the auction.
Who was there? If he wasn't there, he sure looked like him.
No, wait, which show were you not at that you had your daughter's thing? I mean, was that the show before that?
That was before. I think that was the Prime 1 thing.
Man, I got to quit. I got to quit drinking before the show.
He missed the COC show.
Oh, that's what it was. The COC.
Oh, yeah.
We did so many shows. I have no idea what day it is anymore. What show I've been on, I don't know. But yeah, the COC show. That's what I was thinking.
I have to apologize to all the auction people because I was super late shipping everything out. And 99.9% of the people understood. And I had 1% had a little issue that I had to deal with. But other than that.
Only one torch and pitchfork coming out. That's not bad. That's not bad.
I apologize if you're watching. Sorry.
Yeah, not bad at all. Last but not least, we have Mr. Delaney from the Secret Sanctuary. How you doing, sir?
Doing really well. Anything going on in the statue hobby these days?
Not a lot. No, it's just been real quiet.
Anything happening?
It's just a little bit happening. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that tonight. I have had the privilege to talk to a number of people in the industry, both on the creative side, both on the company side of things. And so we're just going to get right to it. And I'm really excited to hear the comments in the chat. The topic number 1 is, I called it Tariffs of Doom. Is this the worst case scenario? So if you have followed the channel, if you have tuned into other channels, I don't know if you've talked about it, Jeff, on your channel. I don't think I saw a video of you talking about it.
Nope.
And I am somebody that I do not like to talk about politics, but politics keeps creeping in with this issue. And so basically it is what it is, and that's where we can just leave it at that. And we really can't do much about it right now. But here's the thing. So I've learned a lot about tariffs in the last month. I didn't know a lot about it before, and I do not claim to be an expert at all about tariffs. But basically, tariffs is a fee, a tax that the country pays to get an item in. And obviously that tax goes to the country in order to receive your items. Okay. So basically, I don't know exactly what the percentages were prior to all this mess. And, there are some people that think the tariffs are a good thing to try to get, business back going again in the United States. Whether that happens or not, obviously the idea is that factories will eventually be built and factories will produce things and we won't have to rely on other countries for their goods and services. However, what we're specifically talking about tonight is the collecting hobby. And basically what we're going to call, we can call these things toys. They kind of fall under a toy category. Whether it is a $5 action figure at Walmart or a $2,000 Prime 1 Studio statue, these things are very expensive. We have talked ad nauseum here on the channel about the fact that prices are astronomical. Shipping has been astronomical for the most part. A lot of people have left the hobby because of the pricing, because of the weight, because of issues like XM Studios and communication and customer service issues with different companies. And there's been a lot of, just a lot of negativity that's creeped in the hobby. Unfortunately, the glory days are probably long gone. The quality is great. There is no question. The artistry is great. The talent is probably the best it's ever been. I think we can all agree on that. But unfortunately, the prices are a lot of money, and this has really become a very high-end collector hobby. There are still companies out there that are able to produce statues at a reasonable rate. I think of companies specifically, more of the North and South American companies. I think of like XM Studios, Sideshow, Tweeterhead, companies like that have tried to keep the prices a little bit lower than some of the Asian markets. Again, all of that is what it is. But when it comes to the tariff situation, basically it is a tariff war with China. And again, some people feel like the rates over the past has been unfair to certain countries, where other countries have taken advantage and all of that good stuff. So basically where we are right now is we were, as of midnight today, the president enacted a 104% tariff on China. Throughout the course of the day, Trump did end up backing off and saying that there was a 90-day reprieve for most countries, not China. But there was a reprieve where those countries like Canada and Mexico, it was back down to 10%, which is very doable. And I would assume those countries are very, very happy. But obviously, China was hit with that 104%. And as Chris and Logan says, yes, it did then go up today to 125%. Okay. So just to give people an idea of what that means. Okay. So I basically talked to some companies about this issue. I'm not going to name the companies because I just don't want to drag them into it. But basically, and this was data based on the 104. Okay, so I'm just going to go on that. So basically, a company, in order to get an item, it's called a commercial invoice. Okay, so let's say the invoice for the product coming in from China, okay, where the factories make this stuff, okay, most of them. It's like Prime 1's a Japanese company. However, they manufacture in China. They get their stuff from China directly. Okay, so let's say that they had $100,000 worth of product. Okay. If the tariff is 104%, that means that they are going to be paying $104,000 on top of their container fee. Now, let's say the company that I talked to their container fee was $20,000 just to get the container. That's how much they have to pay the container to fill their product up with and get it to the United States. So that means that in order to get $100,000 worth of merch to the United States, it will now cost that particular company $124,000 just to get it here. Okay. Now that is an insane amount of money. Now it's up to 125,000. So now it's $125,000, let's say, on the 100,000, and 100,000 is actually lightweight from what I was told. Like, that's lightweight numbers. Okay. It's a lot of money to me, but $100,000. So then you have 125,000 plus the container fee. So that really begs the question then. Yeah, Theodore says, like, yikes. Okay. That then brings the question, like, who's going to pay that? Okay. Initially last week, we got this graphic right here. This is what we got. And this was before we kind of knew what the tariffs were going to be. So some of these have changed. Japan was hit with the 24%. And again, these are the companies that were kind of hit with that 24%. South Korea, 25%. Blitzway, J&D Studios, Hong Kong. The big one right there is Hot Toys, obviously. Canada's Pure Arts. China, you can see a plethora of companies, and not just those companies, but that's where stuff is made. But that's where have their presence. USA has Hasbro, Mattel, McFarlane Toys, Mondo, NECA, Pure Arts, Sideshow, Super 7, and so on. Okay, so that was like the initial tariffs. Now, again, a lot of those tariffs have dropped down depending on if the country is willing to negotiate, which is, obviously a good thing. But obviously, most of our stuff, most of our toys, they come from China. And that's, Mattel toys, that is action figures, that is all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's not just that, but it's like car parts and microchips and all kinds of things to power technology. So obviously, we're going to focus here on the channel of just primarily the collecting stuff. Okay, the toys, the high-end collectibles, and that sort of thing. Okay. We've also heard from companies like this. This is from Comic Concepts. It says, "Dear collectors, as many of you know, there is currently a significant tariff situation impacting imported goods, particularly those from China, which has led to increased costs. As we are currently absorbing most of the cost, there may come a time where we will need to pass on a small percentage to our customers. We will keep everyone updated as the situation progresses. This is a new challenge, not only for us, but for the industry as a whole. While we've been absorbing these costs thus far, the recent tariff announcements have prompted us to engage in discussions with our partners and manufacturers to find a viable solution. We kindly ask your patience as we navigate this issue." So again, these type of comments are trickling in from companies like Comic Concepts. Obviously, these are third-party retailers such as like Spec Fiction and some of these companies. We have also heard from companies like from J&D. And Matt, you were saying that, I think you read that earlier. Do you want to tell the people what you kind of heard from J&D on that side of things?
J&D, I watched their video. He came out with a, I guess he's the president or so of J&D, saying basically they're going to lower their cost, and so they can eat the tariff. They'll pay for the tariff. So just stupid numbers here. If it was a $2,000 statue, they might lower the cost to, let's just say, $1,600 or whatever it is, and then they're going to add on the tariff. So they say they're going to do that for their customers and fans, and they're going to, kind of same thing, kind of like, hey, we don't know how long this is going to go on, et cetera, but that they got out in front of it and wanted to address, because everybody, on Facebook and Instagram, whatever, who's going to pay the tariff? Who's going to pay the tariff? Well, J&D basically said they're going to lower their costs and then add on the tariff costs to it. So, yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, that is what companies are saying. Obviously, they're going to want to try to get ahead of this. Mm-hmm. What I'm most concerned about is how long can that be sustained? Obviously, consumers want to hear that from companies. They don't want to hear, oh, we're going to, sustain the costs for a little while. It's one of those things where, again, like Chester says, Statue Brothers said they are protected from additional tariffs. Let's see what else. What other comment did I want to see? Anyway, that's what companies are saying right now.
Can I say something real quick?
Say that again.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, you may. Absolutely.
So far, you seem to be proceeding from the assumption that there's going to be something to ship. And I don't know if you guys saw that post from Eric Sosa that I shared today in my group.
It was this one right here.
Yeah. So if American companies are halting production, there's nothing to ship.
And that's really kind of where I wanted to. I'm really glad you said that, because that's kind of where I wanted to kind of segue into. I've had a number of conversations. Again, I don't want to name names, but I've had a number of conversations off camera this week. There's a lot of concern. This definitely affects the companies right now more than the consumer, but it will eventually affect the consumer.
Yeah.
I have heard most companies, again, these are just companies that I've heard from, that there will be a pause. So stuff that they were going to put up for pre-order soon, they will not be. They will not be putting things up for pre-order in the foreseeable future. Now, I was told that things up until midnight this morning, if things were already on the water, if things were already on their way here before that time, that those items were fine.
Yep.
However, everything now from today on, again, this is April 9th, depending on when you're watching this, from now on, it will incur that 125,000 or 125%. So I think absolutely there'll be a major pause. Now, I don't know if that will be from overseas companies as much, because they a lot of times will sell to their own region, like the Asian collectors will buy from the Asian companies and that sort of thing. They won't have to worry about that at all. But if you want to buy a Prime 1 statue, let's say, I don't think we're going to be able to get that in unless it's already on the boat, which makes me a little bit nervous about, like, I don't know how that's going to affect my tactical throne or my Killer Croc versus Batman.
Right.
Is there going to be fees that I'm going to have to pay? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I ordered directly from Prime 1. If it's a company, like, let's say you order through Sideshow. So is Sideshow going to take 125% hit on stuff that they've ordered already? I don't see how they're going to be able to do that. They might be able to for a little while. Smaller companies, like a Tweeterhead, they're not going to be able to take that. Nope. There's no way in the world. They will not survive.
And they're also not going to be able to build a factory in the U.S. and make them here.
And that's another big giant argument. And we've kind of said that over the years. Like, hey, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Mm-hmm. Well, so here's another example. So Apple had a deal today where they came out with an article, okay, talking about iPhones. So let's say that they started making iPhones in the United States, okay? It would cost per iPhone, it would cost $3,500, and that's before markup.
Yep.
Okay, so that's $3,500 to make it in the United States. Okay, the infrastructure is not here yet. It might take another 2 years to build the factories and get stuff up and running. Would we be able to make our own chips? We're gonna have to get our own chips from somebody, or figure out a deal with that. So that's a mess in itself. Now, when it comes to statues. The statues, the factories overseas, from everybody that I've been told, are top-notch artists, incredibly skilled. They have a great living wage. They're taken care of, but their labor is incredibly less than what it would be here.
Yep.
A statue to be made in the United States, if by God a factory was made here, it would be 4 to 5 to 6 times what it costs now for a statue. So you guys do the math. If you're already upset about a $2,000 statue, what's it going to be if it's made in the United States?
If it's a $10,000 statue,
it's not feasible. It is not sustainable. It will not happen. No. It will not happen. You can mark my words. Companies will just flat out go bankrupt. They'll leave. They will not go to that route. which is sad. And it's very scary to me. But I think for the time being, there will be a pause. Now, that also means that China is going to have this possible giant surplus of product that they're going to have to sit on until things change, until the tariffs go down, if they will. Now, all the news I read today is like, well, China and the United States are not going to buck. They're not going to back down. How long will this take? Again, where are you guys at right now whenever you hear all of this news? And I hate to be the doom and gloom guy today, but it is just really bad news. Where do you guys weigh in on like, what this situation means for the hobby right now?
I'll go first if you want me to, Chris.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. And by no means, my views are my views. So with respect to people in the chat, we're trying to respect everybody and make it not political. But you got two guys that are playing poker in front of the stage of the world right now. And, with respect, nobody wants to be caught bluffing, and I think they both believe they're doing the best they both want to do the best for their country and their people. So that being said, we're in the standoff and who's going to fold first, type thing like that. Now, when we put everything into perspective, we all like painted rock on this channel. Okay, it is what it is. It's painted rock. Okay. I think yes, there will be a halt. So let's just take Prime 1, for example. Let's say you got notification, hey, so-and-so is going to be shipping soon. Well, I think they're going to hold off on that now. I think they're going to send another email out saying, hey, we're waiting until we see what goes on with this tariff situation. Hey, your statue is still here, but we're not going to ship it as planned, type thing like that. What I'm kind of like seeing, like, as we watch YouTube or we watch, Facebook or whatever, people saying, well, Sideshow's going to go out of business, so-and-so is going to go out of business. No, they're not. They're just going to adjust, just like they did with, COVID, when the COVID times were there, they just have to adjust. Because with respect to Sideshow, I think they're one of the well-run companies out there. I can honestly say that. I think they're just going to adjust and maybe not sell as much, or, hey, this was supposed to go, be delivered this month, but we don't want you to pay that 125% tariff or whatever, type thing like that. So we're going to sit on it for a while. But what I would like, people like freaking out, well, tariffs, well, as we were talking backstage, whatever we PO today, at best, it's going to be a year and a half until it's done. So I'm sorry, the tariffs will be gone in a year and a half. I think if you had to ask
the stuff we'd PO'd a year ago.
yeah. I mean, with respect, and with respect, but to my point, Jeff, it's like, well, let's just say you got an email. Let's say a month ago saying, hey, we're preparing this thing to ship, but now with the tariff situation, they might say, well, we're not going to ship it now. We're going to wait and see what goes on with this tariff situation. So Jeff doesn't have to pay the 125 or, whatever extra fee, it is going to be. But I just think a lot of people are freaking out. Oh, well, the statue industry is dead. No, it's not dead. They're going to adjust. And like prime example, they might, hey, we're going to pause your shipment that was scheduled, Chris. We're going to pause it, But guess what? The people over in China that ordered the same statue or wherever, they're going to get theirs because they're right there. They don't have to pay the tariffs and all that. So if you PO something today, people, it's going to be a year and a half, maybe 2 years before you get it anyway. The tariffs will be gone. Right now, we're in a standoff, and it is what it is. Not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, but we're just in a standoff.
I think you bring up a lot of good points. It kind of goes back to our friend Thor Gunnarsson. He always says, you have to be patient. And I think this is definitely going to be a waiting game of, but again, like I don't think anybody's going to do a pre-order. I just don't think that, that's even going to be a thing until something changes. There might be companies like, again, Prime One or somebody like, they put up something today. They put up that new Morgan, beautiful statue, by the way. And that's one of those things where I think that there will still be companies. I think that there'll be a lot of companies very leery. I think especially companies that deal in the United States are like Jeff said, they're definitely going to pause. They're not going to be doing any sort of production, which, again, I can't imagine. So like if China's not making any money and, they have factories full of stuff that they can't sell, the factory's not going to be making any money. So that's going to have a negative effect on them at some point also. It's going to hurt everybody until something changes.
Because Americans are, one of the highest populations that consume Chinese products. So trust me, they're going to feel it, and they're going to be on their leader to be, hey, you need to go talk to them, the USA, and let's get this over with. I got stuff building up in a warehouse that's just basically sitting inventory that I can't put in my bank. It's a negative on me right now.
I'm less optimistic. To get a little bit political,
I'm going to say, it's hard not to with this topic.
Well, if you read what Trump's current economic advisors believe, it's necessary for the U.S. to decouple our economy from China's. That's their goal. So, yes, while companies might yell and scream in China, hey, we've got all this inventory, that doesn't matter to the U.S. administration, who's making a conscious effort to separate the two countries economically. That may benefit us in the long run. I don't know. I won't comment about that. But it makes me less optimistic that they're going to come to an agreement where those tariffs come down anytime in the near future. It would take our Congress, who is supposed to control tariffs, by the way, it would take 2/3 of our Congress to overrule him, take back that control, and put a pause on any tariffs. They have the ability to put a pause on tariffs. I think it's for 6 months, but they have to want to do that.
Right.
So, yeah. And let me give you an example outside of the hobby. My sister works for a clothing manufacturer. They currently have millions of dollars of clothing being manufactured in China. They can't pay the tariff. They can't build a factory here. They have this is a multi-million-dollar company. They have no idea what they're going to do. They're at a complete standstill. So this is a far-reaching problem across the entire economy. And I don't know. The statue hobby will continue, but I think it will change. I think some companies will go away and some will remain. I hope that collectors will start looking back at stuff that's already come out for their collections, then forward, maybe. And I do slightly worry that this is going to greatly expand the ability of custom statue makers to succeed. I say that with 2 custom statues over my shoulder. Reason being, the tariffs are not on the retail cost of the item. They are on the declared value of the shipment coming in. And a custom producer will put any declared value you want on your statue ordered from them. So there could be a dramatically smaller tariff on a custom statue than on a licensed statue. So those are the many things that are running through my head today.
I think those are all amazing points. In terms of, whether it's customs or whether people are just, like somebody said earlier, like there might be a giant eBay boom, people buying, because now if you can't buy from a company that you want to buy from, well, maybe you can buy from another retailer. Maybe you can take a look at that statue that you've kind of wondered about for a while. It's already amazing. Yeah. We've talked about enjoying what you already have. And that's what I think a lot of us are going to have to do for a little while, which is something we should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
Brendan Riley says, if companies like Sideshow pay through the nose now, they'll need to raise prices to recoup that cost later, meaning new pre-order products from this point on will be priced higher and rarely do they come down. So number one, I don't think they're going to do pre-orders, but if they did, yes, they would absolutely have to increase the price. I also think that they are going to have to renegotiate with some of their as a distributor. I think they're going to have to renegotiate with their clients to try to recoup some of that. I've also heard rumblings. I've heard rumblings that some companies might actually end up asking customers that have already purchased an item to pay more for that item to get it.
No thanks.
Now, I think that what's going to happen is people will just flat out cancel. And obviously that is a big fear, I would think, for the companies as well, to have mass cancellations.
Yep.
And that's again a very scary thought for the company, and the company can't withstand that. Obviously, some companies have really good return policies, some do not have as good, some it's more difficult to get returns. So I don't know exactly how that'll all work, but I've heard rumblings that might be happening, and I don't think that will go well. Now, there might be a company or a person out there that says, well, I'd pay 10% more if it meant I guaranteed to get the item. But there also might be one of those things where I'm sorry, we're just we have a lot of stuff that hasn't started production yet that you've pre-ordered that we're going to have to cancel. It's not going to be produced. I think that's going to happen as well. And so that does stink. But if somebody says, well, if everybody pays a little bit more, then maybe we'll get it produced. I don't know how people would react to that. How would you guys react to that?
I'm fine with them making that offer as long as I have the option of a full refund if I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Billy, we haven't heard from you yet. Where do you stand on all this stuff?
We're in trouble. And I don't mean as a country. I mean as a statue community. You have to remember, at the end of the day, these things are luxury items. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessities. If you tell me that, we have a tariff on Canada to import lumber, well, we have our own trees here. Okay, we could work around that. And it's a necessary thing to build houses and this and that. These statues are, I don't even know if many people outside the hobby know that this is a thing. So if they're not going to put anything up on pre-order, if they're going to hold off on that, what are they going to have all their workers doing? Just sitting around twiddling their thumbs and not get paid? So if they're not putting anything up, nothing's being produced, what happens? What do they do? They're gonna, to understand what I'm saying, the factory's not doing anything. I'm guessing there's rent to be paid for that factory. They have cost over there. If they're not bringing in any money, they can't pay their employees. People start getting let go. They're not going to be able to pay their rent for their factories. They're definitely not bringing in any new materials, but who cares, because they're not putting anything up for pre-order and production anyway. I see this hobby it's not going away, but it just might go in a more underground route. If you know somebody who dabbles in all the things art, who can, no, I'm being dead serious, because me and Eric talked about this today. Someone who has the ability to 3D print something and assemble it, fill it, sculpt it, paint it, and there you go. You might see more of that, where people become more creative. And I remember years ago, and if anybody's a sneakerhead out there, they know that when a Jordan Retro would get released, you'd have people lined up at the malls, camped out for a whole day. And when you got up there, people would buy 4 or 5 pairs. And then the people in the back of the line, they wouldn't get a pair, and they camped out all this time. So they went to a lotto system. And you would basically go pick up a lottery ticket, and then you get a phone call if you got chosen. And so basically the sneakers became harder to get. So what did people do? They started going on eBay and Facebook marketplaces. They bought old sneakers and they restored them. They would put new soles on them, give them different paint jobs, and then either keep them, sell them, do whatever they want. But they basically got creative with their hobby, because to buy it brand new retail became too hard. I could see the same thing happening. Somebody mentioned it before about eBay having an uptick. Yeah, if you wanted to get that LBS Joker and he was going to be the Joker in your collection, okay, maybe you don't want to go that route because of the situation. I'll hit eBay and see if I can find the Permejo Joker. and that'll be my Joker in my collection. Or I'll go see if I can get the Say Cheese. Everybody knows that one's great, right?
Yep.
So, and so I could see that happening, or I could see people making their own statues, but you may not get that new statue smell that we all love, but
which is cancerous, by the way.
I heard.
Yeah.
So I'm probably doomed, but I other things, chips for iPhones, car parts, all these things are going to be more on the essential list than painted rock. It's important to us, but at the end of the day, I don't think, either they don't care that this is our hobby. They really don't. So
yeah, they're not thinking about collectors with this stuff. They're thinking of big major things. I mean, obviously, again, they want factories built in the United States. They want stuff made here. And
there's negotiating being done. There's negotiating being done, but we're not allies with them. So, I mean, don't think that these two countries are going to get to the table anytime soon.
And that's the thing is, like, I like Matt's optimism. I tend to agree with what Jeff and Billy just said about the fact that I think that hopefully something will happen. I'm always somebody that likes to be optimistic, but at the same time, these are two really strong butt-headed guys that are going to, fight tooth and nail. And I think at best, this will last at least 6 months. And in that 6 month time, I think about, and again, this affects at least the United States in my mind, like, think about stuff on the shelves. Like, there's not going to be toys at Christmas. There's not going to be electronics in the stores. Like, there might be some, but if a majority of this stuff comes from there, it's just going to be really interesting, because I know there's a lot of product right now. And again, I've been told this, there's a lot of product right now that's going to be out there for, things coming out this summer that are already made that are not going to get here. They're not going to be on the shelves for those big summer movies. They're not going to have merchandise for that stuff because those toys are going to be held up over there.
You mentioned Christmas. I just read today, this is the time of year when Walmart and Target orders for Christmas.
Not now. Yeah, they're not now.
Right.
That's insane.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not going to have that stuff on the shelves unless something changes. I mean, maybe Matt's right, and maybe this lasts a week or two, and they figure out that this is awful for everybody or whatever. And again, that's hopeful.
So, but Chris, you have to understand also is that even if, and I hope Matt is right about that, and
sure,
it's not gonna disappear altogether. There will be an uptick in price. So then we cry about when FedEx and UPS raise their rates. So there will be for a 1/3 statue, it's not going to be the same as it was 2 or 3 months ago. So people are going to start to get to that point, which they already are. Is it really worth it? How bad do I really want that thing? So that right there it's people. It's going to weigh more on most people that are going to be like, hey, I might want it for $3,000. Do I really want it for $4,200, $45? I mean, it's going to be ridiculous. Again, these are not necessities; these are luxuries.
Right, absolutely. And some people in the chat are saying, "Well, this is only affecting America. It's not going to affect anybody else." That is not true, because we're not talking just about statues here. We're talking about global products coming into countries, whether it's stuff coming into here or us sending us stuff over there. And yes, like let's say China isn't sending their Prime 1 anime statues to us. That might not hurt them very much. They're going to be able to still make their money. But what about a company like Hasbro or somebody that's sending over Superman action figures? Are people in Asia buying a whole bunch of Superman action figures for the big movie this summer? Probably not. So there are trickle down domino effects that, yes, it might hurt our country first, but then it will eventually hurt them as well. And it's going to hurt their workers and their people in their factories, just like it was said earlier. But it's electronics, it's steel, it's parts, it's microchips. It's not just collectibles that we're talking about. Again, we're just focusing on that for us. But the collectible market isn't just high-end statues. There's a lot of stuff that is shipped both ways, mostly from China to here, which again, I think will affect, again, the shelves for the time being. So it might be, like somebody said, it might be a good idea to get your Christmas presents now, because who knows what it'll be like in 6 months. And again, hopefully, like Matt said, hopefully this will all be a big wash by, we've made the same deal. Like, we were freaked out about the port strikes, and it could last, months and months and months, and it lasted a week. Hopefully that's the case. But again, this is a very, very big deal with billions and trillions and gazillions of dollars at play. And I can't imagine the countries wanting this to last for very long. Yes, this is a power play. It's a trade war going on right now. But just like today, I didn't expect them to back off for 90 days. I think a lot of people didn't. The president even said 2 days ago that he wouldn't back off. But he was asked today, and they said, well, it's like, well, if the situation arises and people are willing to sit at the table, great. That's the whole point of this, to negotiate fair trade. But again, for somebody to come out and say, well, we're going to get you at 125 now, it's throwing fire on it, right?
So that email from Big Bad Toy Store that someone mentioned in the chat says they'll be raising prices on new and existing purchase order or pre-orders.
Jesus. See?
So that's again, I was right. Wow. This is a problem because again, people will just flat out cancel them. They might lose their deposit. And I don't know how big.
But why should you? But why should you lose your deposit? Let's say that your deposit's 10% of your total, right? So if I gave you 10% of what the total cost was when I purchased it, now you decide to raise it. How could you? That's like changing the game in the 9th inning. Like, you just can't do that. Like, I purchased it, let's say at $2,000. You just can't raise the price on me. And then if I want to cancel, just keep my deposit.
And that's the thing is, it's sad because it's not Big Bad Toy Store's fault.
No,
it's not the consumer's fault.
Like, all right, so that's not their fault. But if I say, like Jeff said, I should have the option to cancel and get my deposit back, that would be their fault that they don't want to do that. Yeah.
Again, it's going to get ugly. And that's the thing I don't want, because if it gets ugly and the companies start saying, hey, we need more money, and people are like, well, F you, I'm not going to pay more money. I agreed to pay what you initially said.
That's it.
I agreed to your deposit. I agreed to your terms. Then if they go against that, now again, it's not the third party retailer's fault, but they cannot take that hit and survive. You will not get your statue. You'll get your refund, but you will not get your product because they're going to go under.
That's the problem. That's why the hobby in that aspect is in trouble. Like what you just said right there. So it's like, well, you won't get your statue. Okay. If people don't get statues, then how does the hobby survive? There's no new stuff coming in, but you just can't put a deposit on something that you were quoted at a certain price. And then all of a sudden that changes. And then you're not giving me the option of backing off of it. Like, hey, that's not what I agreed to. And, it just doesn't work that way. And so this is a huge problem if it goes on for a significant amount of time.
I do like what you said, Jeff, earlier. You said that give me that option at least. Mm-hmm. If I want to pay more and keep that pre-order and guarantee that it's going to come in, bingo, good. Yeah. But I also think you should have the option to cancel, which again it's going to destroy them. It's going to destroy the companies.
Companies won't be able to give those refunds. They won't have that money in hand.
They might not. And then what happens? What do they file for bankruptcy at that point, right?
Yep.
Chapter 11?
Jesus.
Well, let me ask this. Let's just say we get an email from Prime One, because we all me and Chris have got statues with Prime One. Let's just say, hey, it arrived, it's in the U.S., but, this tariff situation is the situation. Hey, we're willing to split it with you. Let's just for just stupid numbers, let's just say it's $400. Hey, Chris, you pay $200, we're going to pay $200. Or I would be fine with that. I would be fine with, hey, you know what? Okay, hey, that's 50-50, you know what I'm saying, type thing like that, Would you be okay with that, Chris, you think?
I think so. I mean, if it meant that I was going to get the product, it would really just depend on how much it is.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Yeah.
But like, okay, so like again, in my opinion, I have no proof to prove this, but I think that Prime One for years has been padding shipping.
Right. So
I
let
don't
me ask you
think
a
it costs
question,
that
Matt.
much.
How would you know that they're splitting it with you? If you are you going to get some kind of document that says, okay, it was $400, let's just say, and we're going to pay 200 and you pay 200. How do you know you're not just paying the whole thing and they're just telling you that? I mean, like Chris just said, we don't know that he doesn't have proof of it, but we have a feeling they've been padding the shipping for years. Well, if they can pad the shipping, how come they just can't hide tariff cost?
Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing is like, again, you take a company like J&D, you mentioned them earlier. They said that they were going to reduce their costs.
It might just be bringing it down to earth.
But that's the thing is like, they kind of threw themselves under the bus because
you
it's like,
were already overcharging.
We're already overcharging you.
Yeah.
Now we're going to charge you a more fair rate, which is what they should have been freaking doing in the first place. So yes, you might see some of that, but again, how long is that sustainable? Again, it's just going to be subjective. It's going to come down to the individual. But the problem is, and again, some of the people I talked to this week, they said this could literally not have come at the worst time. Because the hobby was already struggling. It wasn't dead. And I agree with you guys. I don't think it will be dead at this point. But I do think it just happened at the absolute worst time that it could happen.
And let's go by what Jeff says, like Walmart and all these big retailers are buying now for Christmas. Let's go by that, which I totally believe, number one, You got to think China's feeling the pressure like, look, okay, the Americans, they spend X amount, I know it's a lot, come Christmas with our products. You got to know that there's got to be talks about that, going on like, hey, factories calling him and emailing him, their leader, hey, this is our Christmas order. This is where we actually give our employees bonuses or whatever. You got to get this stuff, you got to go sit at the table.
Keep in mind, Matt, we're not talking about a democracy.
Oh, I know. I know. It's a
government might not give a damn whether it's hurting their own companies or not.
But I think, even though it's not a democracy over there, I think all of his factories sitting on product and all that getting backed up because America does buy a lot of Chinese products. At some point, he's gonna have to go sit at the table. You know what I'm saying? Type thing.
It will hurt eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no question. Again, a lot of people
I don't know
are
if
just
they're going to be in a rush to go sit at the table to negotiate for a statue company. You're not exactly,
No, I'm not
producing an item
statues.
that's going to cure cancer or something. It's just they're
like, in general.
It'll have to be a more broad thing as far as everything goes. I don't think anyone's in China is really going to care that a toy company went out of business.
But if you think about if everything that they're making and sending to us is not coming here.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they definitely have.
Let's just say 100%. Let's perfect world. 100% was not coming in the United States, which is what they want. At least the government wants. There's no way they could sustain that because we do buy so much from them, or they're just gonna have to get used to making a lot less. But that's not gonna happen either, because at the end of the day, money rules the world. Whether we like it or not.
I don't know the details of it, but I imagine there are a lot of Chinese factories that are very busy creating products for the U.S. and shutting out the opportunity for other countries to have products made in those Chinese factories. It's possible they could just replace these orders from the USA with orders from other countries and keep those factories going.
It's possible.
Yep.
It's possible. But again, I don't, when it comes to like statue collecting, I don't know how many other countries are buying.
No, I'm talking in general. But Chris, you have probably talked to statue companies who have complained that Sideshow steals all the good factories.
Yeah,
I've heard that. So obviously, there is sometimes an opportunity like this where the big kahuna isn't cooperating, you're not producing for them. So you go for smaller folks. You're still bringing in money. You might even be making more money because the USA has made these awesome deals with you that will take this enormous amount of product, but you got to cut the price down for us.
Yep.
They can make more money than less.
What do you guys think? Sideshow is also a distributor, like for Iron Studios, Prime One, all kind of stuff that I don't even know. So how do you think that they don't just make their own stuff? How do you think it affects that?
That's what I said earlier. I think they're going to renegotiate terms with those companies.
When we're talking about Chad, as far as putting his stuff on there, they're taking a big chunk.
Yeah, Sideshow's taking they take a large chunk. I've heard around 50%, which is a large amount. But then if they say, well, now we're going to have to take 70% and renegotiate to that, just so Sideshow survives, and just so the company survives, but can the smaller company like a Tweeterhead or a PCS or something like that, can they survive with that? And the answer to me is nope.
30% of your own product?
No.
Come on.
I mean, they have to have a certain amount of profit margin to be successful, right? I mean, obviously, it doesn't cost them as much to make a statue as what they charge. So there is wiggle room there. But if it gets down to a certain percentage, I just don't know how the smaller companies can survive. And if those companies can't do that, if they can't renegotiate, and again, I don't know if that's what's going to happen or not. I'm just guessing here. But if they can't do that, then Sideshow is going to lose a ton of companies that they work with. I don't know. It's just a mess.
I feel bad for a Tweeterhead because just using that Superman bust and, as great as it is, it was also great because of the value that you got. It was wow, this was $300 and it was so great. If he has to up that and the value takes a hit, do people still want to go that route?
That's the thing. Okay, so let's take a look at that Superman. $300. Let's say Sideshow didn't distribute that bust. They don't do the bust. Tweeterhead only does the bust.
Yep.
So that's a good news for Chad, let's say. So let's say that Sideshow did, though, that means that Sideshow would take 50% or whatever they get. And so that leaves 150. And let's say it cost Chad $100 to make it. I don't know. That means a $50 product margin on each statue. Okay. So again, that's not a lot of profit margin. So yes, will a Superman that's $300 still be able to be a $300 Superman? Hell no.
Nope.
It's gonna be a $1,000 statue.
Yeah.
Right.
Mark my words that would be a $1,000 statue.
So who's gonna want to buy a bust where at $1,000?
Nobody.
The value's not there anymore. So he's gonna have a hard time pushing those. So where do you go? I mean, I guess maybe if we get to a point where the bust is $1,000 because the 1/3 is $4,000, then
it's just not going to happen.
Right.
He can try. PCS can try. Iron Studios can try.
Somebody said, "Well, we don't have painters in America." Yeah, we certainly do have talented painters in America. I'm looking at one right there. But you know something? I don't know how much they make over there. But people over here are going to want a whole lot more than they're getting over there.
That's so, again, from what I've heard.
It's not happening. No, statues will not be made in America. It's not happening.
Just to be produced, just to have artists that paint it, that are professionals. The cost would be 4 to 5 times more.
Maybe more.
Again, I'm just spitballing here. But I know again, with the people that I've talked to, it's just not good. And I'm really proud of the companies with the idea of them pausing. I think pausing is a very smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
And wait till there's calmer waters. Does that suck that maybe I might not get to pre-order my Man Bat this year? Yep. But I'm okay with that. If it means that eventually they'll put it up for pre-order.
Yep.
What I'm worried about is that they'll end up canceling stuff like that because they just won't be able to produce it. And that sucks. But again, that does go back to what a lot of people have said tonight is that, yes, we, at this point, a lot of us here in this community, we're very, very lucky to have the collections we have. When I look behind all of you gentlemen and see art on the walls and I see statues and I see people posting Facebook, we're very blessed to have what we have. And that is an opportunity for us to be thankful for what we have and enjoy with what we have. At the same time, I am concerned with collectors being able to get their money for things that they have already pre-ordered. I would be worried about pre-ordering right now. I would be against it. That is my advice right now. That sucks because guess what? If you're not pre-ordering, is that helping the statue companies out? Nope. But I am worried that people are going to lose money. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
It's a legitimate concern, especially from the smaller companies.
Yep.
So hold on. So Chris, you got Tactical Throne and Croc coming.
Yes.
Matt, yours has already shipped out the door.
Be
right?
here Friday.
Okay, so all right, so his is already with FedEx or UPS, right?
FedEx.
Okay, and you didn't get any. Hey,
Nope.
it's going to cost you. Chris, your tracking hasn't updated yet. Like it's at the port.
So neither one. So like I ordered my Tactical Throne later. Matt and I both think that ours are both on the same cargo ship somehow.
Yep.
But mine hasn't updated yet. I got tracking finally today. When did you get tracking for your Killer Croc? Was it like a week or two ago?
No, it was actually, when you
the same day.
Group today. Yep, same day. Yeah.
So his is freaking arriving on Tuesday.
But Chris, what does yours just says a label has been made.
Label's been created and it's like Chino, California or whatever.
It hasn't been scanned at the port.
Correct.
The tariffs hit when they hit the customs border.
Correct.
Right.
Mine is not.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Mine hasn't shipped yet, or it's shipped, but it hasn't arrived in the United States yet.
My Delado Tactical Throne is in Texas right now. 3 boxes.
Okay, so yours is already. You're good. You're good with that one.
Yeah, his is already in FedEx's possession.
Yep.
So he's
Right,
going to
It's in FedEx's possession. It's in their facility in Texas.
And mine's on a boat somewhere.
Yeah.
Or it could just be sitting in a container at the port. They just haven't opened the container yet.
Imagine if Matt got away with scot-free, but Chris gets hit with 125% increase in price.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah,
There will be a show about that.
Yeah, there's going to be a show about that. I'm going to be freaking losing my top.
All I keep thinking as I'm listening to you guys talk is you're worried about paying these prices now. We should have been worrying about paying these prices 3 years ago when the prices skyrocketed since COVID. And it's like, I don't know, something needs to change. It's getting chaotic.
Right, but you know how many people got into the statue game during COVID because they were just home buying stuff?
Possibly, I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I know COVID slowed down a lot of production, but
it wasn't like things were being made, but whatever was in the warehouse and in stock already, people were buying stuff.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I don't know. I like to try to stay optimistic and see what the bigger picture is. Like Matt said, we're in the middle of negotiations. See what happens. Personally, I'm a person that doesn't like to be dependent on other countries. I think our country has been way too dependent on other countries. Not just this week, going back decades. So, the fact to bring I don't think it would be possible to build factories that quick and even produce statues. I mean, statues are like Billy said, it's a luxury. Statues, this is bigger than statues. This is like the future of our country, and just it's not about the statues, but yeah, I don't know. I would think there's a bigger play and plan here, or I should say plan and play here, other than just negotiations. Otherwise, it would take too long to build anything in factories right now. You're looking at like a few years just to even build the factories to do anything like that. So I just don't see it being done that quickly.
Yep.
It's just not a solution anyway. It just even
It's
if you
not.
get the factory built, like it's going to be at that far escalated price, much higher price.
Yeah, 4 to 5 at least times the price that they are right now, which are already overinflated. Vengeance, I saw your question. I put it up on the screen. I don't know. I have no idea. And I don't know if Tweeterhead knows. Again, they can't take that kind of hit. There's just no way. So again, like the stuff that Tweeterhead has, the stuff that Sideshow has, the stuff that Iron Studios has, the stuff that PCS has, all of the North America, South America companies, they have product right now that are being manufactured in China. they're going to have to pause. They're going to have to sit on all of that stuff. So all of that stuff that's currently there being produced, that stuff's not coming to the United States anytime soon.
It's not a solution, but do you think they would fudge the numbers on like the way bill that comes in? Because I remember receiving Prime 1 statues overseas and looking at the invoice and seeing like they would always put like, $600 when it was like a $1,500 statue.
So I'm glad you said that, because the $125 or the 125% tariff is on items $800 and higher. There is, I believe they said, and this was early this morning, so it might have changed, but I think they said 80% tariff on 800 or like $799 and lower. So technically, yes, if you said a statue is only worth $1, it would only be an 80% tariff right now versus the 125.
But Eric, in the situation you described, I don't think that's a fudge number. I think that they're putting
That's their cost, right?
That's their cost. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's what gets tariff, not our retail.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it might not be as bad as we think, because maybe the companies are making such a huge profit on these statues that a tariff on their cost won't be as prohibitive as a tariff on retail would be.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary.
Well, I thought that was how we got around the import fee, by doing the economy, because it shipped on the boat and then didn't actually get shipped with FedEx or UPS until it got to the port. So it kind of looked like it was being shipped domestically. And that's how we got around the import fee. How would that work? Let's say we bought a Prime 1 piece and chose economy shipping, where it was going to be on the boat. When would it?
I received a message from a custom company today that said using economy shipping will still protect you from tariffs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true of all companies, but from this particular custom company, he said, you're good to go.
Right. Because they're going to declare that the value is like $1 and throw it on a boat. And then once it gets to California and then it ships, it's still like it's shipped domestically.
I mean, that's when I ship people items internationally, I do that for them. This way they don't get hit with huge taxes. Like if I send somebody one of my statues and I know it's valued, I mean, the only difference is you would lose in insurance, but trying to get an insurance claim on anything is impossible anyway. So what does it matter? But if I ship somebody my statue and I know it's $1,200 on the, the custom sheet, I always just put like $500 or something. This way they're not paying so many, fees and taxes. And
well, that's how it's done on eBay. Like if you see something that's made in China, they'll say free shipping. You're like, well, how do you do that? But then when you contact them, they'll say, listen, we could do the expensive shipping, or we could do the cheap shipping. But if something happens, it's on you.
Yeah.
Chris and Logan, Todd at Spec said he was going to pay the tariff increases for placed orders. He might be able to for a little while, but you can't sustain that.
I think we just need to start smuggling statues.
He's a one-guy operation, that has a few employees. It's just he cannot. These smaller companies cannot sustain it.
Yeah, no, he said as much. He said he'll pay for what's on order now, but he can't promise about the future, and will keep us apprised.
It's going to be like
he got this news on his birthday, so I just want to wish Todd a happy birthday, by the way, because that's just how sucky to get that kind of news.
It's going to be like the drug market. We're going to be secretly flying statues overseas without anybody detecting us.
There's going to be some of that
go underground. I mean, I know we don't talk about customs here, but
we'll start a black market.
It just might go that route.
I think you're right. I think, again, we've talked about eBay, we've talked about underground, we've talked about customs, we talked about 3D printing. A lot of that stuff's absolutely incredible. A lot of talent in those fields.
And I do think that is feasible to do in the US. I mean, I know you guys are like thinking it's going to be like 5 times more to hire US painters, and I don't know. I don't think it would be that high. I mean, if you compare it to what these tariff increases might be, it might somewhat equal out. You never know. So we'll see.
But how is Tweeterhead going to build a factory? How is PCS or
they might just
going to build a factory?
I can guarantee 1,000,000%, or I'll sell my entire collection, that there is no way in hell that'll ever happen.
No way in hell.
No way in hell.
They will not build factories. They cannot build factories. They cannot pay the labor. it just cannot be done. And it sucks. And I wish it could be completely opposite of that. But I have been told point blank that these companies cannot and will not do that because they cannot survive.
Even if it saves them $20,000 on a container, saves them who knows what they're overcharging anyway to begin with over in China.
Well, you got to think about too, Eric, is our eco laws. Our eco laws over here are way different than over in China.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As far as the paints and all that stuff, you know, and then, you know, like workforce and all, but just our environmental laws would keep American factory alive.
JWR says it would be higher. Americans won't work for lower rates like overseas. Plus, they will unionize and strike to make more money like UPS and FedEx do. Very valid points.
Yep.
Even just the money, I mean, literally to construct a factory, way out of range for these smaller companies.
Well, I think his plan is to build up the economy, and in return, I would hope, you know, wages, you know, people's salaries would go up in return. But I don't know.
And that's the thing is like there are decent and good ideas behind a lot of this. Whether it works, that is going to be the test. And I think it's going to be at the expense of a lot of people for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, things might get better eventually. And again, I think that's truly what this is all about, is to try to get things better, to tank the economy, to tank the dollar, and then rebuild from there. However, there's just going to be a lot of residual damage.
Yeah.
And I think our hobby specifically is really going to take a brunt of that. And that's because nobody in the big picture cares about collectibles.
Yep.
We do, because that's our passion. But the government, they could give two shits about it, right? They're going to care about electronics. They're going to care about cars, manufacturing, steel. They're going to care about that stuff. What China's going to care about is the agricultural aspects that come from here. You know, I live in Kansas. A big giant chunk goes overseas to feed the people. There's a billion jajillion people in China. They need the food. They rely on some of that. So that will hurt them. So again, it's never a good thing. Right now, hopefully in the long run, it maybe benefits people. I'm hoping. Again, I'm always optimistic to try to think, okay, hopefully this thing will be positive in the long run. But I think for a long time, it's going to be a big hurt. And again, I don't see factories being made in the United States to produce toys. I just don't think the labor costs would, and even if they did, who's going to pay, you know, let's say $300 for a G.I. Joe action figure?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, I can tell you this from experience. My family's a bunch of builders. That's what we do. They could build a factory, and I could say, hey, Chad at Tweeterhead, here's the keys. Don't worry about paying rent no time soon. Just take care of the people and all the environmental costs, that he still couldn't do it. I mean, it's just all the environmental and everything, and paying the labor and everything. Even if he had a factory given to him, he still couldn't do it.
I just have to give a quick shout out. For the first time ever, my sister-in-law Emily is saying hi on the channel. So hi, Emily. I hope you're doing well. Glad you got the ticket thing to work out earlier. We're talking about tariffs. We're talking about how tariffs are potentially destroying this hobby, destroying stuff coming in the United States. We are trying to make collecting grail again. I like that. That's very well said. But it is one of those things that we could probably talk for hours. We've talked to an hour and 9 minutes, and I want to thank 251 people watching. Please hit the like button, guys. That does help us tremendously here on the channel. So I can't thank you guys enough for hearing us ramble about this stuff for an hour.
How much do you think a pair of Air Jordans would cost if they were made in the United States?
Well, it's just insane.
I think the sneakers are made in China, but the apparel's all made in like Honduras or something like that.
Right. I mean, I mentioned the iPhone. An iPhone would cost $3,500 just to produce here in the United States if the factory was here. So you think of one iPhone, how much would Apple jack up the price on top of that $3,500 just to make
at
it?
least.
But also look at how the people being treated that are making your sneakers. It's usually like child labor. So you feel good about that.
We've all heard those things, but
you got to think, it goes both ways.
Yeah,
but
It's actually Jack. Sorry, hi, Jack.
It's the only way, though. If you want these things, it's it.
It's just, you know, the idea, again, the idea of having factories and making our own stuff and paying our own workers, like all of that is great. But in reality, in a real world situation, it's not going to happen right now. It might happen slowly over time. I think there is manufacturing that wants to be here. I know they're looking at a lot of like old factories and trying to go back in to see if they're even stable enough to go back in and put people back to work. And I'm all for that. But it is one of those things where it's like, it's rough, you know, It's rough. Anything else? I mean, again, we could talk for a long time. Anything else you guys want to say? Or have we beat the drum dry?
To be continued. See what happens.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And again, I want everyone to be successful. I want the companies to be successful. I want fans and consumers to be happy with their product and have a fair product. I think we haven't had fair prices for a really long time. So I am glad to see that some companies are maybe willing to do a little bit of wiggle room. I think some of the larger companies are going to be able to do that. I think some of the smaller companies are absolutely not and are going to fold. Unless Matt is right and it doesn't last that long. It is a shorter period of time, which again, I don't know. We have two really strong-headed people.
Have you ever met do you know who our president is?
Right. And that's the thing is like, I just don't see either one of them bucking. Eventually they will have to,
right?
But I don't see it anytime soon.
Yeah, well, exactly. So it's not going to happen in 2 weeks. So what happens if it happens in a year from now? Do these companies, are they still around?
Time will tell.
Brad's comment is pretty good right here.
Trump is out 3 years and free market will be open again. And anyone who built and invested into a factory will be ruined because it'll just go overseas again.
Yeah, that's the issue.
But the problem, I mean, I've even heard, they've even asked Trump if he's going to try to run again. And he's like, well, we're looking into it. It's like, I don't know. We live in bizarro world right now. And so who knows? And the thing is, if you watch the news, which I try to avoid, but if you watch the news, every day it changes. Every day there's something completely different. Yep. So next time we're talking about the show, it might be something completely different. Tariffs might be at 1,000%, or they might have worked it out. Or, you know, octopus might have invade the planet, or, you know, who knows what's aliens are going to come down. I don't know. That's the kind of bizarro world we live in. But all I can say is, like we always say on the channel, collect what you love, enjoy what you have, and be patient. Yep. I think that's going to be the real key. And we've talked about patience a lot, but I think this is going to be the real test of patience until they figure all this out. I think the companies are absolutely going to be put on pause. I think production is going to be put on pause. I think stuff's not going to be coming to the United States, at least in the moment. I think there are going to be companies that ask you to spend more and pay more for what you've already paid for. And it's going to be up to the consumer to say yay or nay. That is where we're at. I don't know if I can sum it up any better, but I think that's where we're at. And I think we just have to be patient and see how it all plays out. Anything else, guys?
Pictures.
Let's do it. Well, actually, we're
pictures.
Well, kind of. We're going to do a little bit. We're going to do something a little different. Okay. We're going to look at pictures, but I want to do something really quick. Okay. Because I promised I would do this. We're going to do a little collection room review. Okay.
Okay.
So what I asked is I had people to submit some collection photos, and I've got 3 collectors. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I've got 3 collectors that submitted photos, and I just wanted to share their collection. And they wanted to have their collection critiqued. They wanted to see if we wanted to offer any advice. So this one is from a collector named Po Ung, and this is his collection.
Oh,
my.
So has a lot of really amazing high-end collectibles. We've got busts, we've got XM Studios, I see Prime 1 Studios, I see Legendary Beast, I see Sideshow. So I'm just going to kind of thumb through these photos, and I want you guys just to kind of tell your thoughts and opinions on it, and you know, if there's any advice you would offer.
Lend me some money.
That's right.
I want that big chap. I want one of your big chaps. You can sell me one of your big chaps.
Wow, he's got a lot of stuff.
This is all the same person?
This is all the same collector. I really like this desk setup right here.
Wow, I mean,
I really like that.
I'd say like my only advice that I can think of is like I look at a room like this and I feel like it's just screaming for some art behind it.
I was about to say the same.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Art up.
He has a lot of height, which like I don't have that height. I'm so jealous because I could put a lot of art behind that. But I think definitely a little bit of art would definitely fill the room. He's obviously got some curtains and stuff, which it looks like he's in a garage there.
Yeah.
So he's probably limited to what he could do with like that wall.
Works well though.
I do. I think he's got some
really
cool.
The different height, the tiers in the back. I like the centerpiece. That kind of reminds me kind of like what you might want to do, Chris, and you're in the middle of your room.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of really good things here with the podiums and the just the overall spacing. I like that it doesn't look too cluttered.
I like the podiums.
The statue with the space is good.
Yeah, I think everything looks like it's spaced out well. And again, these are really large pieces that he has. Again, this is Po Ung, UNG. And again, I want to thank him for taking time to put his collection out there. But I think it looks really great. I really like that he has some art here. Obviously, he has stuff spread throughout his entire house. But I love this. This is really cool to see all these together. But just a really nice looking collection. So again, I think a lot of us feel like maybe just a little bit of art might be nice, but I think we all feel like it's spaced out really nicely. The other collector that I have, and I just have one photo. This is from Theodore S, and he's probably in the chat right now. He's a member. Beautiful collection. Definitely reminds me a lot of the Rogues collections, like the way they have things with a lot of the Prime 1 pieces. Anything you guys want to say about this collection? I think it looks really nice. Well, I like the uplighting too.
Yeah, I like the lighting. I love the lighting, and I love the art behind it. So
yeah, the art is nicely displayed the way it's laid out. I love the uplighting. Great selection of statues. Not a huge collection, but it's well presented, and they all look good together.
Yeah.
I think so too. I really like the art, and I like that the lighting really creates kind of a mood in the room, which I kind of like. Very much.
I like that.
It just looks nice. I think it's really, really great, Theodore. So thank you for submitting your photo. Our last collector for this part is going to be Jeff Houghton, and Jeff's also a member. I've been a long time with the group, and these are photos from him. And one thing that really stands out for me is the blue wall color.
Yep.
It very much kind of reminds me of my old Rogue setup a little bit of Batman surrounded by his villains. One thing that Jeff does is he does mix and match scales.
Yeah.
And that sometimes bothers me, although here I think it looks pretty darn good.
Yep, it does.
Yeah, it looks good.
He kind of pulls it off.
Yeah, he pulls it off. He's got a great Superman collection here. Again, I really feel like that blue really pulls it together with the white window.
Yeah.
Again, art just looks really nice. He also sent a few photos that are vertical here.
Cool.
So again, he's got some really nice pieces. A lot of pieces that are really sought after.
I like that Alex Ross bust. He's got a Superman.
Yeah, Alex Ross bust. It's the old Sideshow, and he also has a really great desk setup as well, featuring that great Tweeterhead bust right there with Superman.
Yep.
Really just goes to show you how big that thing is.
I wouldn't change a thing in his room. It looks real good.
Yeah, again, Jeff, I really like the blue color. I think that just really makes everything pop and really makes it feel very comic book to me, which I really like. Jeff, anything you want to say about this collection?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I love it. A nicely curated collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all three collections have been really nicely displayed. I think Jeff maybe has a little bit more, more of things condensed versus the other collectors. But I feel like he pulls it off. I don't feel like it looks junky.
No.
It's evenly spaced, and again, it's just a nice collection using some garage shells and kind of our go-to things. So again, this is something that collectors have asked us to do from time to time, and I've never really done it. And so let me know if you guys in the chat, if you guys like us to do that from time to time. We won't do it all the time, But let me know if you would like to be featured. Send your photos to the Batman Statue Collector at gmail.com. Also, please, if you want to post your photos in like Secret Sanctuary group or Batman Statue Collector group, we would love to have you post there. All things art. I don't know if you would like, collection photos there, but please feel free. Because it's fun to talk about collections, and as long as people don't get offended, I don't think we're going to pick a collection apart too much, but hopefully, a little bit of our advice or what we said rings true to you. So please let us know if you enjoy that segment.
I saw in the group today, Dennis Perez put some pictures up, and he's got a great collection, a lot of statues. Not so much art, but it kind of reminded me of when I went to Darth Rashid's house, where it's more statues. Like you could tell that he's a statue guy. It's not, it's displayed nicely, but and I think he's in Puerto Rico, so it's also hard to get stuff over there.
Yeah.
So for him to have the amount of statues that he does, it looked really cool. And he's got it's a smaller room, but there's also like a row of garage shelving in the middle, so you can kind of walk around it. So it gives it that gallery kind of feel to it. I like what he had. Looks pretty cool. And
again, I want to thank. I didn't select everyone because I didn't know how long we would take. I didn't want to like bog the show down with a whole bunch. So what I'll do is
I remember seeing another photo in the group.
Yeah, there was actually a bunch. And so what I'll do is the next time we do this, I'll take the next 3, and we'll just kind of do a couple of collectors at a time. Again, I just don't want to bog everybody down. But again, a lot of people are making comments like Dark Ranger 7. This is a great new idea for the show. So I'm glad. It's not something I came up with, but I want to thank the community for recommending it. And I think it's just a fun way to celebrate what other people have. It's like what we were talking about earlier with the tariffs. We can just appreciate each other's collections where it's at right now. So again, I want to thank everybody, including Theodore, for submitting photos. I really do appreciate that. And so we'll continue that from time to time. And I also want to give a shout out to Showtime 101 for gifting 5 Batman memberships. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that very much. And guys, enjoy the membership. And if you like to continue the membership after the month's over, I really do appreciate you continuing. It really does help us out here tremendously on the channel. So thank you to all of our members from the bottom of my heart.
And speaking of people sending photos, we won't be negative. We'll just say, hey, maybe you could use a little art, or hey, do this, but we won't pick it apart. But
we're not here to trash anybody.
No.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. So with that said, are you guys ready to look at photos?
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Hopefully I do this right this time. We'll see.
I want to see more rooms. That's my favorite thing. I like seeing all the statues together. I don't like them seeing one by one.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do that. All right, let me know if you guys see the photo that is large.
Let's see. Oh, Sean Murphy. Yeah, there we go.
All right, so we're good to go. Okay, so we're going to start out with XM Studios. XM Studios posted some factory shots. This is literally over 3 years later. That this thing is finally being produced. I know a lot of collectors, and I'm talking a lot, including our friend Dan. I want to give a shout out to Dan. Dan's not with us tonight because his dog is ill, and they're at the vet today. And so I send my thoughts with Dan. I know that their pet is going through some treatments. And so he wanted to be with us tonight, but that is why he is not with us. So our thoughts are with him. But this was a statue I know he had pre-ordered and canceled. So I've heard a ton of other collectors. Thank you, Billy. Just that have canceled this. This is still a really great statue. And I would still love to have it. I'm not in a hurry to get it. I'm going to wait till it's available somewhere.
Did anybody check the Funhouse mirror effect on this one?
Yeah,
I was like, it's not 3 on the table this time.
Yeah, so at least they didn't doctor the photos.
Well, somebody said it might be AI. I was laughing at that comment.
Yeah. I think these are legit.
Damn. This thing is big. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a big statue. It's got some height to it. I wish it was a little bit higher because I wanted it to be a little higher for the bat bike so you can put it behind it. That was my only gripe about the piece, but I had the prototype in hand. And it was phenomenal. I loved it. It really captured Sean's work, and the paint applications look really great.
The paint looks incredible, but it should for taking 3 years long.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Doesn't it worry you that there's so few on that table?
Well, I think a lot of people have
That
canceled.
one, let's see, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, looks
I was thinking about the other one that showed the base or the.
maybe 20
Yeah.
bases there. Let's see. One,
I mean, that's not a lot.
It's
Yeah, like
slim
10.
pickings. Yeah, it's slim pickings. Again,
There's
I pray this.
9 here.
Again, people have been asking, well, what about this statue? What about this statue? And XM has not said a word.
We should try to like contact them, and you know how people put the date on, put a worker there with the date.
Yeah, with a piece of paper. Yeah.
It's a life.
Yeah.
Send me a video. Sorry, no.
But again, I just pray that this actually gets out to collectors. I know that XM, at least from what I've heard behind the grapevine here, is that they have been in financial trouble and that they have had try to get backers and try to get people back in the swing of things. I've heard from various sources that they have had backers and that they have new ownership or whatever. Again, I don't know because they haven't actually come out and said publicly what's going on with their company, and they don't need to. But they've definitely, for sure, shaken confidence with collectors, consumers. I feel like, unfortunately, they've really tarnished their brand name because they do put out incredible products. I'm hoping that they are able to recover. However, again, with the news from today, it's going to be real hard to get this stuff in the United States that have purchased here. So if you're overseas, I think you're in luck for getting this piece, but God help you if you ordered through a local retailer to get this piece in, it might cost you.
That paint on that gargoyle looks amazing though.
Yeah, I mean, it's like XM paint. They're phenomenal with their paint.
Yeah.
And again, this is a company that I really hope succeeds, but again, it's maybe a little too late at this point for them. Let's see. Sideshow announced an ES of 650 on the Harley. This is actually a little higher than I thought it would be.
Me too.
But it is a healthy number, considering some of their pre-orders to date. This is a rehash of one of their new or their older pieces, but it is a new sculpt, so to speak. And I think it's obviously a popular piece. So 650 worldwide on the Harley. 350 on this Rogue. Are you guys surprised by the low number on this one?
I was surprised about the low number on that one.
It wasn't really well received, and the last one they did is so much better.
I agree. The other one blew this one out of the water to me. But I still think that this is a fun sculpt. I believe this one was sculpted by Summit Maholta, which is a phenomenal female artist. He just does phenomenal work, does some custom work as well. But just really phenomenal statue sculptor. And so I'm excited that he got a chance to do this piece. But I thought it might be a little higher than this, but again, 350 is a pretty good ES if you are a collector that likes low edition sizes. All right, so here's the legendary Beast Joker.
Yep.
Chris, you need this.
I asked, what'd you say?
I said, Chris, you need this.
So Eric, you vote for me to get it.
I think so, especially the black version, because you don't have a black suited Joker in your collection.
Where do the rest of you guys weigh in?
Or do you have a Joker in Harley Diehl in your collection?
Well,
I don't.
Well, here's I showed because I was thinking about the black version. If I was gonna get it, I was gonna get the black version. Alex Ross showed a picture of my wife. We were down in Miami for the Miami Open a couple of weeks ago for tennis. I said, "Hey, what do you think?" She says, And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's not oh shit." I mean, I think in your collection, Chris, you got so many Number one, you got a lot of statues. But then number two, you got some that are, are like eye catchers, that even if you did this one, it's going to get lost in it's not OMG enough.
It's not Joker Say Cheese.
No.
It's not Bermejo Joker.
Nope.
I want to like this. And I do in certain aspects. A lot of people have said, like if you look at this compared to like a Prime One piece, it's just different. The paint applications are different. The sculpts are different, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it's different. I really do like the black. I do feel like the purple pops more. There are a couple of different options. Like I feel like this is probably an option I would go with. I also like the Alex Ross look as well, and we're going to see a picture of that here in a minute. So if I was to get it, I would probably only get the Joker and not the Harley version.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she kind of distracts from him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't really love her portrait. They are making the secondary portrait. However, I don't believe they still have that approved yet. I think that they will get it approved, but I don't think it's approved yet. I love the Alex Ross. This is the painting that I have. So I love that, they have that. You can actually make this the front or the back, which I love. Again, this is the new pending approval head, which I think looks good. Jay really wanted a crazy Harley, and that's why he went with the other portrait. And it is crazy. I do think, without question, these look really good together. I am getting the LBS Batman, that exact one that you see there, in the black, and I love the way that looks. And so I do think that these would pair up really nicely together. I think what draws me to this one is I love the ha-has. I think that separates it from some of the other pieces.
Well, the thing with the LBS is, and it goes back because Billy has like all the Marvel ones. They look good together, especially because they make all the bases the same height. So when you see like 5 of them in a row, it's like really impressive. Like, I don't know if I would get one like as a standalone piece, but like when you have a lineup of them. The other thing, I don't like all the other portraits. I only like the portrait with the hat, when he's looking down.
And that's the thing is, like, I feel like the biggest miss on this piece is the portraits.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate because, like, I don't like that one.
Nope.
That one is okay. And that's probably what I would go with. I do like the way the purple pops. I don't like this with the half mask. I would never display that. I don't think it looks very good.
Nope.
What about that portrait without the mask?
I feel like it's just okay.
Okay.
This is my favorite one.
Well, that's
I like that.
That is considered the Alex Ross portrait.
That's more Delato. That's the Delato, no? Like where he's looking off to the side.
That's what they're saying. And so again, like, look at the way the purple pops versus the black. Again, I don't think I would get Harley. I do like this portrait. I think this is probably the portrait I would go with. I just don't care for the Joker portraits as much.
Nope.
But again, look at that. I think that looks great. And again, I love the purple. I don't like this one.
Nope.
I just feel like it looks cartoony to me.
Yeah.
And that's a Capullo.
Chris, I think you're trying to make yourself like it.
I really don't like
this one.
This one is Aaron from Bat in the Sun.
It's
why would
it's terrible.
Why?
Are we looking at the same thing? It's terrible.
How did this happen? Okay.
I don't know.
But look, the portraits are the moneymaker. Like, why do we love Say Cheese so much? It's not because of Robin. The portraits are phenomenal. So
the portrait is the number one key to any statue, in my opinion.
So then what are we talking about here? These are, you have the one, like, that he's looking down that looks cool. It's a different look, but the rest of them are not great. Kind of reminds me of a Big McFarlane 1/10. If you ever seen those. Yeah, just something about it.
I just don't know. And again, like, I feel like that pops more than the black.
So that one, the slide before that one paired with the Batman, like he's looking at Batman, would look really cool.
Yeah.
They do look cool together.
That's the thing.
And that's the thing is, like, I feel like, yes, this Joker is not as good as the ones I have. Yes, it lacks a little bit of the wow factor. Yes, the portraits are not as good, but
that's great.
This looks fantastic together.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should spend the money because I feel like I'm going to regret it if I don't. And I feel like the edition sizes are pretty low. Now, this one might not sell very well. I don't know. But I don't know what to do. And if I do get it, do you guys think I should go the black? Or do you think I should go the purple, which I do feel like pops more? Like right here or right here.
It just seems like such a personal preference.
Yeah, I'm a black suit Joker guy when it comes to the hat and all that.
The hat, yeah.
I mean, the black is different, but I think
Yeah,
the purple
that's-
matches up with Batman better.
That's more
I like this pose right here.
Yeah, that looks good.
Aren't
So
aren't most of your Jokers purple?
They're all purple.
Maybe you need a black.
And that was what I was thinking. Is like, if I'm going to do it, I probably should get black. But then again, I see this. I'm like, oh, it just pops so much more. It's more jokery to me.
The purple goes better with the Batman. The black is different. That's one of the reasons why I love Bermejo, because he has the black jacket. And I know some people didn't like that. But it just looks so different. You know what I'm saying?
I guess that's true. Now that I think about it, I do kind of already have a black suit because I do have that black coat Joker on the Bermejo. You're right.
You're
Now,
welcome.
here's one way to look at it, Chris. You said, solo, he doesn't look, as eye-catching. But together, they look eye-catching to you.
Together, they look eye-catching. And
So-
again,
So you go spend $4,000 to make a $2,000 statue look good.
you're not wrong. But
That's
again,
true.
it's one of those things where, like, he's going to do a Ra's al Ghul. He's going to do a Clayface, at least hopefully.
Yeah.
It's like, am I going to want them all together? And probably the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So,
you could do Batman, Ra's al Ghul, and Clayface together.
I could do that.
But you go spend $4K to make a $2,000 statue look good.
Damn you, Matt Martin.
Yeah, it is a big one.
You are speaking truth.
Yep. But mark my words, you will order it. Mark my words, you will order it.
Well, here's the question: are you happy with the Batman by himself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the Batman.
Like,
But
you
I gotta
picture him in your-
pay
You have
that.
a spot like where you picture him, like he's gonna look good.
I don't know.
Are you going
I
to
don't
do the
know.
Alex Ross portrait?
I don't know. I don't know where the crap I've got already is going to go.
Yeah.
And I gotta make that Finch money. Oh, Lord help me. Okay, I'm tired of talking about Joker. Let's move on.
No.
Let's talk about a cool
Yeah,
piece from
here.
Tweeterhead. Got Man
That
at
looks
Arms.
good to me. It looks good to me.
Yeah, this looks great. Masters of the Universe, obviously, a big hit for Tweeterhead. Tell me what you guys think about this one.
I like the I think it was the exclusive paint job. I really like that one.
Man,
A lot of armor to this one.
that looks like the Castle Grayskull, right? It used to have like the towers on the side, right?
Yep, it's the Castle Grayskull tower.
Mhm.
I think this looks great.
2 portraits.
Both of them good.
I'm assuming this was sculpted by, or at least art directed by Dave Igo. I like the height difference here. They look really good together with the heroes.
Yeah.
They did say they are going to do a new He-Man as well.
Mhm.
Here's the painted variant that you were talking
Yeah.
about.
That's
I
kind
really
of cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
It's kind of cool with the black. It's kind of like a black and white vintage look. I like
think-
it. I think it.
I think that one's already gone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
limited 50 of those. So yeah. Tweeterhead exclusive, which means you can only order from Tweeterhead. But yeah, great piece, and congratulations to anybody that gets this. I don't know when you're going to get it, but hopefully you'll get it after our recent conversation. Oh, yeah, there you go. Sold out.
Sold out.
Boom. This is from our friends over at Blitzway. They're doing some vehicles. So I thought this was kind of cool. They're doing a DeLorean.
I
Six
got
scale?
a question. I got a question for you, Chris, because
Yep.
seeing this come out by Blitzway and not Prime, whatever, and then Prime One doing the new Master Elite line.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still working with Blitzway, or is that they're shifting? Is that their way of shifting from Blitzway?
Well, it makes me a little nervous because they did tease. What is the last stuff that they teased? Like the Alex Ross pieces,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Those still have not gone up for pre-order except for Superman, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So that has me a bit concerned. I am praying that they still release those. It does make me wonder if they're still going to have that same relationship. Obviously, Blitzway was using Prime One's license. Obviously, very similar to like Sideshow or somebody that would get a cut. I'm assuming that Prime One would get a cut of everything Blitzway sells.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're using their license. That's how business works. But it does make you wonder with them releasing things like this, if they are pivoting a bit and doing other things.
Well, we mentioned that the night that Henry Cavill was announced on the Next Level.
Yes.
That it wasn't with Blitzway, and if it's just a Prime 1, I mean, I don't see how it could be any better.
Yeah,
so maybe they just told me, thanks, but no thanks. We don't need you anymore. Because
well, and Blitzway, they had movie properties before,
Sure.
but there are certain ones obviously that they don't have, and they do phenomenal work. So with or without Prime 1, Blitzway is still going to do phenomenal work. They have some of the best sculptors in the business. They've got K.A. Kim and others, and so I don't worry about Blitzway at all. But I think that there is a chance that they could be pivoting a bit. And that's fine. You know, it's great to offer different things, and I guess time will tell, you know, what happens with them.
They've always done stuff outside of Prime 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm not really worried. Yeah, I'm not worried. This is a beautiful new piece from Sideshow. This is part of their own creation line, and this is the Witch of the Woods. What do you guys think about this one? I think she turned out really nice.
Is this the one where you got to show ID to just?
Yes, yes, you do.
She's got too much hair.
Well, you got to have a little bit to cover things. I think it's a beautiful sculpt.
Yeah, it's good.
This one doesn't grab me as much as there are other pieces in the line.
It's definitely risque. It's not as risque as some of them. Like Succubus, I think was a little bit more risque.
Yeah.
You know, but definitely appeals to certain collectors. Obviously, beautiful sculpt.
The direction of her gaze is a bit odd. I don't know if you have a picture that shows it, but she's looking up at the brim of her hat. I mean, she can't see. You know, what she's looking at is the brim of her hat there.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she is. I don't know.
I'm not seeing horror in this piece.
Yeah, I mean, the horror is hidden, like back here. You know, like on her arm. If they had more of her body like decomposing up front,
mm-hmm.
and maybe that's the whole thing, is maybe she uses illusion to trick people or something with her beauty. I don't know the story. Obviously, she's got a bloody heart with a dagger through it. She's got a severed head. So there is horror elements. But I see exactly what you're saying. This seems more fantasy than horror to me.
Yeah, I want to like it more than I do.
But it's beautiful. It's a nice sculpt.
I don't know if it's a severed head or if she's manifesting that creature out of whatever that.
Oh, her cloak. Yeah, that could be. I didn't take it that way, but I think you might be right.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you're exact. Thank you for that.
She's like a wizard or something. She's got that wizard hat.
Yeah. Let's move over to Infinity Studios, and I thought this was the most random thing I've seen in a long time.
Looks awesome.
There's no question it looks awesome, but it is a giant life-size tiger out of nowhere by Infinity Studios.
This looks awesome. The detail. God.
I mean, it looks like something you would see at a zoo with like a zoo museum, like that's been, taxidermied.
Who had to hand punch that?
Oh my God.
Probably took a while.
Think they're paying their factory workers enough?
What's the yes on this?
2.
Probably like 1. Yeah, I was going to say.
I think it's like 50 or something like that.
Maybe it's a real tiger. It's just stuff like taxidermy.
It could be. I just thought it was random, but it's awesome. Hate to see the price on that one. These are some photos from our friends over at Jim Mint's studio, and this is the Magneto sculpted by Daniel Bell. Some in-hand photos of him. I think the colors look great. Paint looks great on this one.
Yeah, that came out really nice.
Yeah, it did.
I love Magneto's colors. I wish we would have more characters with that color scheme with the red and purple.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just pops so nicely.
That cape looks real good. The cape looks real good.
But if you want to see this review, it's over at Jim's channel.
But if you want it, you got to jump on the wait list.
Yep, I was going to say it sold pretty well for them, I think.
Both versions are waitlisted.
It's awesome. Unmasked portrait.
Cool.
Yeah, he was when he was talking about this one, he looks like he's sweaty, like I don't know what they did with the paint, but it looks
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I think the paint line on his hair could have maybe been a little bit better. It looks like kind of like a seam kind of. That's just me nitpicking.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. It's Jack.
Yeah, he's been lifting. Metal. Haha. Speaking of metal, here's my brand new Harley Quinn. What do you guys think of this one?
Heavy metal.
That's
I
great.
like it. I like it. And now I'm going to ask you, it's been basically a week. Is your excitement for it still the same, or has it grown?
I would say it is one of the best Harleys I've ever seen. I like it even more having some people in the chat, especially Gotham Cinnabites, who said that this was never ever actually in the comics. This was only a cover, which made me like it better. I view this as not a metal Harley. I just view it as my Jester Harley. The paints are incredible. They're immaculate. What really sells it for me are the hyenas up front.
Yep.
It's so well done. And it really fits super well with the Batman Who Laughs, but I don't feel like you need that piece to have this in your collection. I think it's just a very beautiful statue. My eye is very much drawn to it because of the paint and because of her portrait. I could care less about the metal portraits. I just don't relate to those at all.
Yeah.
But if you want just a decent Harley statue that has a lot of presence, and again, nobody else has done the hyenas, Bud and Lou in this scale before, and they are massive. If you watch the unboxing, like they are really big. And so I am just as excited today as I was when I unboxed it. I think it was a really good choice. I think this one will end up staying in my collection for a lot longer than I thought it would, because I was just nervous. I was nervous to order this because I just didn't know if she would have a place in the collection. But I really like her. I think she just looks very intimidating and evil. So this is definitely more of the evil, psychotic Harley, and not like the more family-friendly Harley that you see today.
Yeah.
But I like her a lot. Again, the portraits were really great. I do like this portrait with the lip ring, and that's the bonus version there with the black. I have that one on the statue today.
Yeah, I like that.
This is a photo I put in. I posted this the other day, and this is something that I've been concerned about. Obviously, Matt's getting his. I asked about putting like a decal on the screen, and I was surprised by most people's comments because, like, I don't want to leave it like this. I'm not going to leave it powered on all the time. I might turn it on for videos and have it on in the background sometimes. But this is what I purchased. I don't have the one that Matt's getting with the rock work in the back. I'm okay with that. This one's already big enough as it is, but the black screens bother me. That kind of, to me, it kind of cheapens it. And so like I asked about decals and like being able to put a decal, like a color form type thing where you can peel it off. I still think that's probably what I will try to do. Again, I don't know. I think Eric, you had a suggestion maybe on a material that I could buy.
Yeah, same thing you just said, like one of those peel off things. I mean, it's cheap enough to do it. It's going to probably cost you like $10 to try it out.
So I'm definitely willing to do that. But again, this just photo kind of proved my point a little bit that it just bugs me. It might not bother you, but I do think it looks great. And it's really cool to see the CGC right next to it because it really shows you how big it is.
Yeah, that's put it into perspective for me just now. I was like, whoa.
It really, really does. If you know how big a CGC is, I mean, they're not small. And so it does show you how big this piece is going to be.
Chris, is yours 2 boxes or?
Yes, mine is 2 boxes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Whereas yours is 3.
3. Gotcha.
Crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. My Killer Croc is 2 boxes.
Me too. Yep.
Yep.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Billy, you have this, right? Already?
What?
That tactical?
Yeah.
You have just the chair though, right?
Just the chair and the rock. Yeah.
Yeah. And it looked great.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't pay the light bill or something, and everything. It's just like, Alfred, what happened? Everything just went off.
I just don't like the black screens.
I like the decal thing, but when you do want to light it up, you got to go peeling off 4 decals. It's just
for me. I don't ever light anything up though. I don't light up my Thunderbolt. I don't light up anything.
Right, exactly. But I mean, I would like to see it lit up, and then you run the risk of, man, am I going to blow one of these things out if I constantly have it on?
Yeah.
To me, it would have been one of those things where, someone came over, oh, check this out, turn it on, oh, that's really cool, and then you're going to turn it off again. So
exactly. So I don't know. We'll see. These are some factory photos of Prime 1 Studios Terminator.
Yep, those look awesome.
That looks insane.
I think it looks cool. Missed the details. Incredible. So there's some factory shots there. Got some more factory shots here of things in production. So if these are anything that you've ordered, you're in luck because they should be shipping pretty soon.
That endoskeleton's a life-size bust, right?
No, this 1/3.
Yeah, this is third scale.
That's one. Is it going to be a whole stat? Well, wow, I think it's awesome.
It's a big third scale. I mean, it's a big piece.
Looks like it,
yeah. Also, this one was in the production, which I thought looked good. I just love factory shots. I know they might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I like to look at them. Megatron.
That's cool.
And just the detail on these things are crazy. Yeah. Cool light up feature as well.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, if you're getting this one, should be shipping soon. T-Rexes as well. Or actually, I'm sorry, that's a Velociraptor. These have started to ship and are in a few collectors' hands. I think this one turned out so fun. From our friends over at PCS and Adams.
A lot of people counseling because of the shipping. Though a lot of people are counseling, needing the money.
It's crazy with the shipping costs on this.
I think that's the only way to display it is on the floor in the corner.
Yep.
I think that's the best way it looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, you don't want it up high because it doesn't make sense. But you don't really want it low either. Like it's I don't know. I guess it's just gonna be maybe a little bit difficult to display. But I think it looks great.
Some people aren't happy with how it kind of looks like they're drowning.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's and the
doesn't really make sense.
The manhole cover, it's kind of resting on Leonardo's head, and that shouldn't have been. And the eyes move, but if you move it, and it kind of just they move on their own a little bit. So there's been and
it's one of those statues you're never gonna get what you paid.
Back into no.
And you're never gonna ship it. It's gonna be like local pickup only, player.
Yeah. That's what I think a lot of people these days need to consider is if you get something that comes in a crate, people aren't going to buy that from you, dude. You know, it's like you're just not going to be able to sell that unless you have somebody that's willing to travel. And even that, is few and far between. So,
I mean, this definitely came with some flaws, but if I'm a Turtles guy, you have to have it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, you have to have this
thing.
And
it's iconic.
Put it on the floor,
It's iconic. PCS also has teased us with a few other things. Someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection. Someday you will find it, the Rainbow Connection. Anyway, that's Kermit, or at least my best impression of Kermit. But I thought that was interesting that they're going to do that property. They've also teased Jack Sparrow as well. They also teased this week. I have no idea who this is, but this is a Transformer.
That's Unicron.
Good Lord Almighty, this thing is insane.
I'm POing this. It's gonna be a gift for one of the not hid kids, but
not good kids.
Yeah, the not hid. I call them not hids.
No, not hids.
So I'm gonna PO this.
It's a fun piece. It's massive.
Yeah.
Detail is really great. I mean, obviously, we talk about Transformers a lot with. Especially Prime 1 Studio and their level of detail.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think this quite reaches their level, but it's really close. I think it's really well done.
But the kind of I showed a picture of this to my wife. She was like, "OMG!" She was like, who is that?" You know what I'm saying? She knew it was a Transformer, and I said, I was like, "Oh, it's Gen 1." You know what I'm saying? Old school Transformer. And she was like, "Well, who you go pre-order that for?" I said, "I'll just pre-order it." Give it to the one I'm liking the most at the time.
And Knucklehead number 1.
Yeah.
You guys see the old school movie? Orson Welles did the voice of Unicron.
Oh, that's cool. That's neat. That's awesome. Well, anyway, I think this looks great, and congrats, Matt, on adding this to your house.
Yeah, it goes up for PO on the 11th. So,
do we know a price point on this yet?
No, we do not. It just says $1 right now on the website.
Yeah, that makes me nervous.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking too.
I think it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also teased a new bust. This was actually revealed on April Fool's Day, and I don't believe it's an April Fool's joke. This is a Deadpool bust, which they've done a few busts like this already with their Star Wars bust and some others. So I think this will be pretty popular among Deadpool fans.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was teased. It's just a render right now, ZBrush.
That's cool.
This is a factory shot from Prime One Studio. This is the City of Bane piece. This is the, what is it, Ghost Pirate, I believe his name is.
Psycho Pirate.
Oh, yeah, Psycho Pirate. Sorry, I'm just not as familiar. But I believe this is based on the artwork of David Finch, which is really cool. As well as the Flashpoint Batman is also being done, and then that Bane on Throne.
I kind of like that Flashpoint Batman.
I do too.
I like the Bane on Throne.
I do too. I'm really debating on that piece. But anyway, it's cool to see these factory shots from Prime One. The Riddler, 1000.
Wow.
Mm.
I didn't see that.
Beautiful ES. I was actually shocked. Everybody for years and years and years said, "Oh, Riddler won't sell. Nobody will buy a Riddler." Well, that's complete BS because 1,000 people ordered this.
That's great.
I'm very impressed. That is probably the healthiest number for a Batman villain I've seen in a long time. And I'm really proud of Sideshow. I know not everybody liked the zombie-esque nature of this. I love it. I can't wait. I don't know when the hell we're going to ever get it, or if we will. I pray we will. And the tariff situation works itself out. But I am loving this statue, and I'm really happy for Sideshow for making so many.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it is. This was that Hellbat. This was in a fellow collector's collection. It's a quarter scale piece, and I think it turned out really nice. Again, it's kind of like that Elseworlds bat suit. Not my cup of tea, but I love the way it turned out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of a Batman Beyond look.
Yeah.
But you can see it's a large piece. Very cool. Quarter scale. So that started to ship. Haven't heard much about this one. Not a lot of fanfare. This is another piece revealed by PCS since our last show. This is the Emperor on Throne. What do you guys think about this one?
I love it. I love it. It's got a storytelling base. He's holding the lightsaber. There's a picture of him holding the lightsaber under his hand. You know,
Lure the Good.
Looks like a photo still from the movie.
Yeah.
I do. This is my favorite character in Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And I do feel like the portrait could be a little better. I feel like this might be a little bit more of the modern take versus the Jedi take.
Mm-hmm.
The makeup was very different on the newer films versus what they did in Jedi. They tried to duplicate it in the new films, but I don't feel like they did as good of a job. They made him look a little thicker and puffier. I do feel like that shot right there looks a little bit better to me. Again, here's that shot Matt was talking about of him holding the lightsaber, which I really like.
Yeah.
They are also teasing a premium one where he's standing.
Standing. I want to see that one too.
I would be very interested in maybe ordering that.
Do you think this is sculpted or is this mixed media?
This is fully sculpted.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one won't be.
No, the other one's got a silicone face.
Yeah, it'll be like more like a J&D style silicone and fabric, where he's kind of leaning forward with the cane where he's walking. Again, he's my favorite character. Him and Vader have always been my favorite. I think Palpatine's probably my favorite villain of all time. Maybe Joker and Darth Vader are close second and third. But I would definitely be interested to see what they do. And I think also J&D is going to be doing this character as well.
You know what would look good, Chris? You know, because I got the 1/4 Mythos Darth Vader, PO paid off.
Yes.
I think that would look good. Then the standing version or the sit down version. So have Vader on one side, the sit down version, and then if they do like a Luke or something, like just have a trio like right there.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
This is 1/3 though, right?
Yeah, this is 1/3.
Should be.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's any 1/3 Vaders out there, right?
Well, the 1/4 he's even up on. He's not just standing.
He's really large.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, even for a 6 scale, when it was almost a quarter scale size at a 6 scale. So I can't imagine. I think I agree with you. I think maybe you just have to put him back maybe a little bit or something to give a little perspective. But I think it's possible.
Maybe we'll see one coming up.
Yeah, maybe we will. And again, if they're teasing this, maybe we'll see a Vader from them. We'll see.
Yep.
Paired up with a 1/3
See
Yoda.
that one. That one.
this is the teaser for the more pending or the premium.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the comments regarding Big Bad Toy Store?
What?
I don't know. It's the second comment I just read over the night that they're putting the cost on the customers, like they're increasing it 40%.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but to correct that person, it does not say 40%. They did
Yep.
not. They did not say how much they would be increasing. They probably don't know.
Sounds like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that they will be increasing costs on things that are already ordered and already will be pre-ordered. And again, that's just a company trying to survive.
Yep.
These are some great in-hand photos. This is the piece that I ended up canceling, which it hurts me to cancel, but it's very tiny. It is quarter scale. It's Jim Lee. I love the artwork. I love the Joker coming out of the water. I think it looks phenomenal. It's a very deep piece. It's oval shaped, so it would make it a very kind of difficult to display. The detail to me looks fantastic. It is top-notch paint from Prime One as always. And I think that looks fantastic. But this is where I paused. Because this piece right here is a 6 scale from Iron Studios. And it's a pretty tiny piece. And so you can see that quarter scale is not much bigger. And so I opted to save the $1,600. And it did kind of pain me because I think it's an awesome piece, but it just doesn't have the presence that I was looking for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks amazing though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a really great piece, and congrats. And there's the Jim Lee art back in the background there.
Yep.
So anyway, congratulations to people that got it. I love it, but just for the price, I wish it was bigger. The Joker head's 3rd scale, which is crazy because the actual piece itself is quarter scale, but it's small like a 6 scale. So it doesn't really make much sense to me with the scaling. I wonder if maybe they used a little bit of forced perspective.
It's not totally there, but
yeah, close. There's the Batman head.
Looks kind of simple.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
A little bit. Could have used some blood. You see the J carved into his.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of cool. All right. This is a life-size helmet that can be displayed as a mask or a helmet or whatever you want to display it, but it is wearable. And this was put up recently. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I might get this.
I actually like it without the hood. I think it looks even better like that. But yeah, you can wear it. You can display it. So yeah, sure. Was it Hasbro? I think
it's Hasbro. Yeah.
Which again, who knows if you'll get it?
Is this the Marvel Legends one?
I think I might pick this up.
I think so. But I think it looks really great, especially just like that.
It's like $200, something like that.
Yeah, it's real affordable. It's got a great price point.
All right, sold.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Oh yeah, there you go. Marvel Legends.
Yeah,
wear that on Halloween this year.
Premium role play helmet. Yeah, it looks great. But Sideshow's got that right now if you're interested. Here's an updated portrait of the Bill Murray for the PCS piece from Ghostbusters.
that looks really good. Yeah, it looks good.
Looks a lot better.
Yeah, it does.
A lot better. This is some art that is, classic Batman here. This is from issue 400 from way back in, I believe, 86. I remember I had this issue as a kid. And, Yep, it's absolutely. And because of this art, the statue has started to ship from McFarlane Toys based on that cover. It's definitely stylized. It's definitely not everybody's cup of tea, but I thought it turned out really nice.
I love this cover. I got like 2 of them CGC'd signed by Bill. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This I just had to give a shout out. This is a fellow collector here, and this looks fantastic with all the Arkham pieces. This is what I wanted it to look like at one point with my Ivy, but I ended up passing on the Ivy. But she looks great in the collection, and congratulations on that victory, because that was a hard-fought victory with Prime One over the years, because they canceled her at one point and then brought her back to life for more money, unfortunately. But Congratulations. I think she looks great in the collection.
Yeah.
These are some photos in concession here, in I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is back to back here, but these are from Iron Studios.
What is it, Mortal Kombat?
This is Assassin's Creed
Assassin's Creed.
Shadows.
Yeah.
But they're definitely new licenses that they're working with. This is a 10 scale piece, which looks really good to me. I love the samurai aspect of it.
I always say it, man. Their sculpts for that scale are always incredible.
They really are. They have very talented artists. New Disney as well. They got a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There's the regular version, which we see here, doing a lot of Disney properties. And I think they really do a nice job. So that's the regular version. And then there's also the one with all the dwarfs on the bottom, which I thought looked really great.
That's cool.
This looks a lot better than the movie does.
I'm about to say the movie is a big.
Heard that's doing well.
Yeah, giant flop. This is the backside, which I love. It reminds me of the ride at Disneyland.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
So anyway, it's kind of a sizable piece for 10 scale. Got a nice presence to it. Also have a new Daredevil.
So there's only we're already at the finale. I heard Netflix.
Yeah,
Dang.
got last one.
That's crazy. That looks good to me.
Has anybody else besides me and Eric started that?
I haven't seen it yet.
Jeff?
I've only watched the first one so far.
I
You've
told
only
you
watched
I'm
the
down 2 episodes, so I gotta catch up.
Yeah, hurry up so we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's
I hope
right.
It gets better and better. Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
So wait, there's one more episode, or the one you were telling me is the finale?
No, 9 is the finale.
There'll be one more next week.
Last night was 8.
Okay, so there's one more. All right.
Well, you have to watch 7 still.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out how many there are.
3 more for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Math.
Come on now.
See, you going through them too quick. I got a lot more to enjoy.
This is a Spider-Man and Venom from PCS. Also have a new
General Kenobi.
yeah,
What's
what
that
the hell?
show? I want to see the season
is
2 of
that?
Andor. Looks really good too. Speaking of Star Wars.
I can't think of the name of this one. What's the name of this show?
I don't know.
Clone Wars, right?
Oh, yeah.
Clone Wars, yeah. Clone Wars, yeah.
I like the lightsaber on it. Also a new Lobo, which I thought was fun.
I thought he was giving the finger for a second.
He is.
Oh, okay.
It's the middle finger.
I think it's the.
No, that's the pointer.
No, it's not.
It's not?
It's the middle finger. Count the digits. That's the pinky right there on the end.
Really? Wow.
Yep. So there, I was surprised too that they went that way. They blurred it out here, but there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Middle finger. I was surprised,
Okay.
but yeah, bite me.
But you can't do guns.
Can't do the guns, but you can flip off people. No problem.
It's the start.
He's got both. He's got a gun and he's got the finger.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, and a Riddler trophy. But I thought that looked cool. Got a new Lord of the Rings as well. Again, nice detail on all these things. Base is really cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
the little greenish glow.
Real American hero.
That
I
Flint?
like this. I was like, oh man, that looks cool, But yeah.
Is that
I didn't know
Flint?
they-
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's Flint.
Flint,
Yeah.
G.I. Joe.
Wow.
It's got the bullets ricocheting. It's kind of cool. I don't know if they're going to do a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. I thought that was really neat.
I always like Flint more than Duke.
Me too.
Yeah. Flint was better than Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was cool. This is that. I don't remember what they called him.
Is that Mumro with hair?
It's like the faux He-Man.
Yeah.
Basically, just He-Man painted different. Basically, what they did back in the day. They also have a life-size Grogu coming from Hot Toys. I thought that was cool. They've done him before, but this is this time he comes with a burlap sack.
Oh, he's giving the finger too.
Well, the other one is the other one Hot Toys or just
Yeah, Sideshow did one and Hot Toys did one.
yeah.
Surprised they never did him in his little carriage.
I know that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, make like a lifestyle. What was that thing called? Prom, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Pram. Yeah.
Pram.
These are some photos, I believe, of more Hot Toys. So
I wonder when we're going to see that third movie.
I don't know. Well, I thought these looked fun.
Yeah.
Again, more photos of Hot Toys things that are coming soon. Some different properties, not just movies. Thought the Deadpool was a good one as well.
Yeah, that was cool.
This one will sell well.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible portrait.
Yeah, dead on.
Thought that was incredible. Little Mads.
This is the same actor that they're doing that other statue from, like a movie that he did back in the day, right?
That Prime 1 piece.
Yep.
Yeah, that they talked about for like an hour.
Yeah. I love the wrinkling along like the brow that's going up the side of his head. Like that just looks so good. I don't know. I'm super impressed with this sculpt. Looks just like him to me. This one was interesting. Fractal armor.
Oh, cool. Jesus. It does look pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I think it'd be really a standout in your collection if you're a Hot Toys collector. I just think it's something different.
Reminds me of what's that company? Swarovski.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I could see that. These are a couple of pre-orders from Prime 1 this week. We talked about the Next Level Showcase. This one got a lot of attention. This was one of three that you put together. We get to see some swap outs, smoking a cigarette. So this is Lucy. Another one here. Again, I don't know anything about this one, but I thought the base was cool.
It's Dizzy.
Up till you dizzy. So anyway, this is also up for pre-order as well. Look at that. Cool.
Oh.
And then, of course, Morgan as well. This is went up for pre-order, I think, today.
Yeah, I think she's $1,099.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought she was really well priced.
Yeah.
And she also comes with this, it is pending approval, but she's got this nameplate, kind of like what they did with Vampirilla. So you pair Vampirilla up with her and, whatever other ones. I know that they have the other character as well, but I love this piece. I have no connection to this character, but I love this statue. I love everything about it. I won't buy it, but I love it. Unless I can make it into Italia. Can I make it into Italia?
Yeah.
Got to have my running joke.
No, I was surprised on the price. The price is
good. I was too. Price is decent. But beautiful sculpt. And that, gentlemen, is all of them. I'm sure I missed some. It's been a minute. But I want to thank 191 people still watching. Thank you guys so very much for being here. You guys are amazing. Please hit the like button if you would do so. Just take a second. Thank you for letting us rant and rave about tariffs for an hour. And again, the show in a lot of respects was a downer. And I think I knew that going into it, but also I think, and I appreciate everybody's input because you guys all had different takes. Everybody has a little different level of optimism. I think we all hope that the hobby will survive and will be successful. I think it's definitely going to continue to hit a little bit of a rough patch, maybe rougher for some than others, especially in terms of companies surviving, which makes me sad because there's so many people that I admire in the hobby that make this stuff. Talented artists, sculptors, people that work for the companies, whether it's in production, whether it's painters, whether it's people manning customer service, like all of those people. I hope continue to have a job because I do worry about that. But at the end of the day, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for this community. I'm thankful for the discussion. And again, I'm just going to say at this point, if we do have to take a pause in the hobby for a little bit, start buying original art. That's no tariffs on that. So I have to give a little cheap plug to that and, buy your Finch art. But anyway, again, really just appreciate what you have for a little while. Appreciate what other people have. Share what you have right now. And I know everybody's always waiting for that next big thing to share. It's like, oh, I got to wait till I get this piece into my collection before I share it. No, you don't. Share what you have. Enjoy other people's, love for the hobby. This hobby will never die as long as people have passion for what we love. And really, it comes down to art. We all love art in some form or fashion. That's really what it boils down to. We love art. We love, and even if you love movie statues, that is an art form. Movies are art. TV is art. Cinema, plays. It's all pop culture. We love that stuff. And so that will never die. And so, again, I'm thankful for everybody in the community. I'm thankful for everybody's thoughts tonight. Anything else you guys want to say about anything, guys?
Yeah. It's been going on for a while with the prices ever since COVID. So thanks, China.
That's right. So, I mean, again, maybe everything will somehow level out. Maybe prices will come down a little bit. In the long run, I don't think they will anytime soon. But maybe in the long run, things will level out, and that would be great. Because at the end of the day, as long as it benefits collectors, that's a great thing. So I'm gonna go eat some tacos. Jeff, have you eaten dinner yet?
No.
Nope. Time to eat dinner.
You got it.
Billy, Matt. Oh, yeah, you're all right. Billy, Matt, Eric, Jeff. I thank you very much for being part of the show. Dan, again, best wishes to you. And again, collect what you love. Thanks for being here, guys. I can't thank you enough. And we'll be back in 2 weeks for the next Rogues Gallery Live. Good night, everybody.
See y'all.
Thanks for watching.